Alright, so I didn't show any of this beginning stuff. So I'm just going to show you guys around before I put the filler primer on. This is the 2,000 subscriber winner helmet. And it's been 3D printed in a, I don't know the name of the filament off the top of my head. It's actually a new filament that I'm just trying. I've ordered about 3 rolls of it now, and I actually like it. It's a pretty cheap filament, but I actually dig it. It's cheaper than the Amazon filament, so I really like the Amazon filament. And then you can see the tannish color. That's the harder Bondo, the mixed together Bondo, and then there's the red putty Bondo that's on it. So we're just going to. So I had a fan on this drying it, and the fan I just kind of dug out of storage. You can see all the little particles and stuff that fan blew on it. See all that all over the place. But that's alright. It's not that big of a deal because this is all going to get sanded down, and almost all that's going to get sanded off. It's mostly on this side because the fan is right there. You can see how dirty that is. If this was like a final coat or something, I'd be worried about it, but since it's getting sanded down just smooth, all that stuff's just going to come right out as I'm sanding it down. So this first layer serves 2 purposes. One, to fill in all the filament lines, which I'm not going to get them all on this first one, so I'll be doing this, sanding it down, cleaning it off, and putting filler primer on it again, probably 2 or 3 times. Basically, this first one serves 2 purposes: to fill it in for the most part, and to give it one uniform color, so I can see any spots that still need some bondoing, what areas I thought weren't really all that bad that are, or if there's any connection lines that are showing through. So there's a connection line here. I can't see it. There's a huge meeting section right here. You can't see, but you can see that one. I don't have to worry too much about the bottom because he does want this cut out so he can just put it on his head like mine is. So I like to do all this part before doing that. Laying it on thick. Alright, so since you last saw it, we got the primer filler put on. Then since it's a uniform color, I put Bondo on some of the parts that really needed it. And then I also came in and cut off the bottom so this is wearable, so you can put it on. This comes with that bottom part on it. So we're gonna do the second layer of primer filler. And I don't really like this stuff. I'd suggest just getting the primer filler, just regular primer filler, not 2-in-1 filler and sandable. This stuff sucks to sand. The actual regular primer filler is better to sand than this stuff. I've got some primer filler left. I'm just gonna kind of spray this all over for good measure. It's all gonna get sanded off for the most part. And this is the last thing that I do. So I'm just getting a different paint, just a different color. Doesn't matter what color you get. And I'm basically just gonna barely push down. I'm trying to just get it to, I'm trying to get more of that right there, big splotches. And this one doesn't really do it very good. very last step, the 220 grit sandpaper, I'll be going over everything just until the splotches are gone. So you just sand an area till the splotches are gone, and then you get a complete even sanding. Even, smooth sanding all the way around it. I'm gonna dash this with some brilliant silver. I started it, but then I remembered to get the video camera. So it's had 2 layers of primer filler, and I've done Bondo on small parts. You know, you do the big Bondo, then you find the tiny little parts that need Bondo, then you primer filler it again, find little spots that need it and such. And I think I'm basically there. This thing's gonna have a few little marks and dings in it to give it a little bit of character, but other than that, it looks really good. It's definitely not gonna look like a 3D printed helmet. Yeah, this is why I don't paint outside anymore. The only reason I'm painting outside right now is because this first layer is getting sanded. Or else I wouldn't be painting it. But you got all sorts of stuff in the air, and you get little tiny, floaty webs and stuff all on it. You can't do a final layer outside. At least I can't. Now I took this liquid latex here, this monster liquid latex. I think I got this whole thing for like $9 on Amazon. And with a Q-tip, just kind of put it on all the little spots. You can see in the picture where the spots are. I try to mimic that as much as possible. So I've got the bigger spot here, and then the smaller spots on the side. This might not be big enough, but I think it'll look pretty good. And then it's pre-taped to be airbrushed. Let's see, a little liquid latex there, but it's going to be airbrushed all here and up here in one color green, and then all through here with a different color green. And that we got in the mail today. These are airbrush paints, military color airbrush paints. So it's basically all the colors that they use in camouflage for military use and such. And that's basically what these are on the Wookie planet, is they're all in a basic military color. So I figured if I don't get the correct 2 green colors within this, I can always mix and get the correct green color, because this has 1, 2, 3 different greens, a brown, a tan, a white, and looks like a blackish, well, really dark green. So 1, 2, 3, 4 greens. So I'll be able to get the right green. So we'll start that. We've got it taped off to where we can do this green here, this green around here, and then also the gray here. So we're going to start working on that today. And once it's all done, all I'll have to do is peel off that latex, and that silver will shine right through. I apologize, my washing machine is on right now. I didn't show you guys the airbrushing stuff because it's the first helmet that I've ever airbrushed. So you can see the little dots and stuff on it. All the green is airbrushed, all the dots are airbrushed, and these are the latex, which I I showed you guys the video of the latex that I put on here. That's what it looks like off. The airbrush did have some overflow. On some spray paints, what you can do is just go in, and I did it on this side, and you can sand it off, because it's just such a thin layer. You can usually go through and sand it off. But the problem with silver is when you sand it, it dulls it. It's just, you can see the difference between the brightness of the silver here and then the dullness of the silver where I sanded it. So since I'm doing an acrylic paint with the airbrush here, I went ahead and got acrylics. That's the clear coat, and I'm going to spray this silver on it. This is an aluminum acrylic there, and then I've also got some silver acrylic here for touch-ups and such, and we've got the gray acrylic that's going to go here, and I've also got white and black in this right here that I'm going to mix into the airbrush. So right now, the reason why I got this clear coat is the airbrush puts on such a thin layer that what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and spray this entire thing, where I just did this, all this, well, like, I'm not going to spray the silver parts. I'm literally just going to spray the parts that are green as much as I can with the clear coat, and that's going to give it an extra bond. And then when that dries tomorrow, I'll be able to tape over that, and then we'll be able to fix the silver. And then once that's done, we'll be able to tape off where the silver is and be able to do all the black parts. So I had to redo the top, so this is a perfect way to show you this since I didn't get it on video. All I did is made a little piece like this, and you can kind of cut it however you want, kind of size it. Just get one side the best you can. You can do it lower, or you can do what I did, which was the higher side. See, you can see right here, I pulled this down so you can see I lined up from the bottom all the way up and then went to the top, so I knew exactly where to start both of these and measured those out. So these 2 points right here are perfect. So all I had to do was take this exact one, flip it over, and do that side. And then in order to get a straight line all the way around it, I just took I traced it with this Sharpie. It's a light color. That way the dark green is going to color it, because I'm going to put the tape right underneath this line. And then basically I'm just going to connect the dots with the tape. And all that I did is I took this, and you can see the highest point is this point here. And so basically you just take it around and put it in the same area. I was kind of going off this side here, and you would just kind of put the point up. Well, this one goes from the inside, and just mark it. And you don't have to be perfect. Try to get as close as you can. And then there. But I just kept on the highest point going all the way around. You can see that the lower one is the one that I go with, because it's supposed to be covered by green since it's a light color. So the lower one is the one that I'm going with here. So I just marked the wrong height. But it's just real easy. Just real tiny light dots. The only real marks are the ones in the front where I'm doing this part. And then you can see the latex that's here. And I've got to do some latex that's going to go along this area. You can see right there the latex, and then there's some mark there. So you can see this monster liquid here. I'm just taking a Q-tip. Just dip it in, get some on your Q-tip, and I can see where that line's going to be. Oops, sorry. And when you put these in with the Q-tip, it looks like they're like big and broad, but actually when you peel this off, it's not going to look like this at all. It'll actually peel some of the paint back, and it'll give it that nice sharp look that you see in the picture. So I'll do a couple of those. It looks like it's got kind of a line here. So you can still see a little bit where the last ones were, and then where the new ones are. I'm going to just put kind of my own. You always want to kind of do your own thing a little, at least a little bit. Many people know it's your helmet. I'll put a piece kind of above the border there. And I'm going to do a bigger spot back here. And you want to be just kind of random. I'm not like drawing any specific shapes or anything. I'm just kind of all over the place with it. I want some sharp edges. I want to get, see that little spot there? I want to get a spot that's inside showing through, so that'll look really cool. Give it a little bit of life. Hold it up as high as I can. There we go. Awesome. So I got something on that side, and then I'll just kind of do the same thing over here. The thing about this, if you mess up, all you got to do is take your finger and wipe it off. It comes right off. If you accidentally leave a little bit on there, it'll get covered up by the paint. You can take it right up with it, and it'll still look just like natural. I want this to be thin. I'm gonna barely touch my helmet. Good. And then we'll put some around the sides here because there's some. So I'm going to try to make it as thin as I can. The thing, if you make them super small, you just got to remember that they're there, because these will hide, especially that one right there. That will hide underneath a bunch of layers of paint. You may not see it. You may make the mistake that I did on the last one and dig a little too deep trying to get it up and cause a mark and then have to redo the entire thing. So, some advice for you. Remember where you marked them. I think that's going to be good. You don't want to overdo it. Don't ever want to overdo it. I'll just put like a mark down here. This is a random one. So the back's going to be done completely by me. I'm not looking at the back of the helmet images until I get to the very end, so I can do this section here. But when it comes to the back design up here, I want to do it myself. That way, that way it gives it some personality from me. It's my helmet. You know, well, it's not my helmet. It's Naughty Mike's helmet, or Naughty Mark. That I'm making for him, but it's made by me. Alright, there we go. So you can see now, the next time you'll see it, it'll just have tape on it, connecting the dots, and I'll start the airbrushing process. But then when the airbrush colors are on and everything's done, all you do is you just take your finger and wipe it up, and all this latex comes right up, and you see this nice silver paint through it. Looks really good. Alright, see you guys in a bit.